Yeah, for real, man. Well, how have you been, man? Nice to meet you officially.
All right, we on?
Yeah, we're knocking into this thing, man.
I'm doing good. Happy to be here.
I'm glad you come in, man. I know we tried to make this happen like a while ago. It would have been when you played with Hotel Fiction. I messaged you a few times. I was like, dude, if you get a chance, please come be on the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So I'm glad we can make it work. You got 2 days in Athens. Rooftop last night went pretty good.
Yeah, I did my first DJ set ever at the Rooftop.
What was the motive on starting to do the DJ stuff? You just love music, want to play more? Or, I mean, it seems like you play a lot already.
Yeah, I don't know. They hit me up and asked me to do it, but it was on my New Year's resolution list.
Okay.
Was to DJ this year, so it actually, I was pretty stoked. So I actually had to prepare for it and bought some DJ equipment and
like a board and stuff.
I bought a board and some software and had to get Tidal.
Okay,
So, Now I have Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal.
Stroking them payments out, man.
Yeah. Pretty baller.
Yeah, dude.
But why not? I mean, I love music, and it's
Yeah,
like people always have like Netflix and
Hulu
or whatever,
and
and
HBO
so
and everything. You know?
why not indulge myself and listen to everything known to man?
Connoisseur, man. I like that. Well, what'd you think? I mean, first DJ set. How is it different than your usual set, man? I mean, obviously some things, but like, what were the knee-jerk reactions of the first DJ set?
It was really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I should have been aware of the dissonance. Like I kind of had just prepared like a early 2000s like French electronic set, so it wasn't like hits per se, but it's very dancey music. I'd say even more dancey than the hits, but I don't know why I didn't expect for people to just come up and have requests all night. Like I should have anticipated that. And I think next time around I'm gonna have my Venmo set out, and if people want to, maybe I'll do a request for $10.
Toss you a few bucks and they get to play whatever, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, because it threw off my groove.
Okay.
But then I was like, I'll throw off my groove for a price, but I don't enjoy just doing it. Not for free. You know?
When you say your groove, you mean is it like, I guess when you're DJing, the whole point of it is like to keep them coherent, I guess, like you're tapping the next one, right? Is that what you mean? Like you had your list in order of how you wanted them? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I've got like a general game plan. I got tempos and keys, you know, kind of good for transitions and stuff.
Interesting. So the request definitely throw that a loop.
Yeah, totally.
Interesting. Well, that's good to hear. See, I thought about doing DJ too. I was like, dude, bro, these DJs are making so much money. You don't have to split it with a band. I love music. It'll be fun. You know what I mean? And then I've never done it. So it's cool to see you do it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think, I definitely think it could open up my mind in terms of general creativity, in terms of like what it means to be a performer or to present music to a body of people, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, for sure. And it could probably, I mean, translate to your other live shows in a way, you know, maybe like song selection or flow selection, stuff like that. Who knows? I mean,
totally like it's like learning a new instrument, you know?
Yeah, for sure,
a new
man.
language.
Well, I jumped the gun a little bit. I like to get the origin story first, man, because I don't know much about you. All I've seen is online and stuff, and I've been a fan for a while. I've been following along.
Cool.
And you're one of the rare cases, not rare cases, but like I was usually like I discover somebody's music, and then I go see him per se. But for you, I just discovered like your performances. Like I would just see the clips of you like running the road or taking your pants off or whatever, and I was like, this is sick because I love performing. I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff. And I was like, all right, this guy's sick. And then I did that for a while before I even started listening to your music, like just watching your clips, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
So kind of tell me how you got started into the music game. Like give me the origin story. I know it's a big question.
Yeah, I think I can tackle it. My first introduction to music probably comes from, obviously, family. I'd say in terms of listening to music, growing up listening to oldies, like oldies 96.3 in Nashville.
Okay.
With Coyote McLeod and, you know, just a lot of early fundamental listening, I'd say, was that. I didn't really develop my own taste until maybe 9 to 10 years old, you know what I mean?
Still pretty early.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I grew up in grew up going to Antioch Church of Christ in Nashville, and the Church of Christ is like a non-instrument denomination. So it's just a cappella. So like you literally, everyone has a songbook. You open it up. You've got, like, people can like read. I mean, generally can read music, and they sing really good, like really good harmony. And so then I went to I was like in chorus or choir, as some would call it.
Yeah.
I was in like the top choir in the state, and
Really?
it's very strict
Yeah.
a cappella.
Was
choir.
that like formative to your singing, you think? I mean, obviously pretty young.
For sure, yeah. I mean,
gave you some good techniques and form and stuff, or?
yes, and I was
Translate.
just always singing, like at my school with Church
Yeah.
of Christ and my and I had church, and so I was always around singing. I was singing every single day
Really?
of all the way through elementary through high school.
So it wasn't something you picked up. It was just like it's always been there, kind of. It seems like.
Yeah, it's always been there, and that mixed with like my dad really liking oldies and a lot of like early '60s, and the way that harmony is so prevalent in those recordings. I think definitely, at least on my most recent record, definitely all finally culminated as a callback from like that. Me realizing how much I love that. And
Absolutely. There's definitely some layers on there, man. I like the sound of it. I'm a big fan of harmonies myself, so that's really nice to hear. Like I like all that stuff.
Totally. Me too. So that's how I got started. I mean, I had some turns along the way, like in middle school, I got really into electronic music. I was really into like Daft Punk.
Yeah.
And then later on, and also, and like really young, like I had an older brother who turned me on to like, I was in 5th grade. I was listening to like Panda Bear and Black Moth Super Rainbow, a lot of like indie, like psychedelic music. I've always really liked psychedelic music, and
there's definitely a taste of it in your music, isn't there?
Yeah.
I like a little bit, not like Hendrix or anything, but like you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. It's tinged with psych. I like I like kind of playfully. I like when people toy with psych. I like a lot of mid '60s like bands. Let's say, obviously the Beatles. People know
for sure
they went like right into the psychedelic movement, but like
absolutely,
even them, like they're still making pop music, and I kind of like that.
Yeah,
dichotomy,
I mean, you kind of thread that needle, right? Like, would that be what you'd call yourself? Like, I don't know, something pop or like psychedelic pop or something like that? Is
people
that
call it psych pop a lot? I think it's funny. I don't know if I have enough psych to get that name, at least right now, but. I don't know. Yeah, I call it like, well, it's kind of a 60s pop, but when you come see it live, it's really just a culmination of a lot. It's really stretching in a lot of different weird directions. So.
Yeah, and it seems like you're not too worried about it being exactly one thing, are you?
Not specifically.
Yeah,
no.
Just let it ride and like whatever works, kind of.
I think so. That's generally my ethos, although I enjoy the practice of restraint and like minimalism, and kind of like I see a lot of beauty in less is more, and sometimes when you do pick a palette of colors, you wind up being happier with the product. So sometimes I do get a little bit worried that I'm just a little bit too gluttonous. I'm just kind of throwing paint at the wall. I'm like, maybe I should pick like 3 colors.
A specific paint, yeah.
Which is partly why like I have given myself some rules. Like on my record in 2017, I had no acoustic guitars. Like that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. What was the motive behind that? Just like done it. Like it seems like your first record was super acoustic, right?
Yeah, the one in 2015 was folk, and I'd been in a folk band before that, so I was trying to. I really respect when artists are willing to like really go to a new territory per record. So that's something I value. And so I had no acoustic guitars, and I tried to not really have a lot of electronic work either.
Okay.
Although the team I was working with, were more influenced in that direction, so I kind of let it drift that way, just to kind of like use what I was working with and like help us all collaborate effectively. Because like my engineer and engineer and mixing engineer on that 2017 record, Cosmic House, were like really good at like electronic instrumentation and production. One of them, the mixing engineer, went on to. He actually wound up moving to the West Coast to work for Facebook.
Really?
And, he does all of their like royalty-free music now.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's a whole like world that a lot of people don't even know exists.
That's wild.
But anyway,
I could see that though. There's like an electronic like taste on there. Like you can hear them layered in there, but it's never super prevalent. I mean, not that I've dug into it too super deep or anything,
right?
But like just from first glance, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And what was the name of that record again? Remind me.
Cosmic House.
Cosmic House, and your first record was named
Space Travel.
What was it like making Space Travel? Because like this would have been, I think, 2015. You said, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, are you just getting into putting music out at this point? Are you like just starting to tour? Like when do you start doing all that kind of stuff?
Well, so around 2010, so I'm like, in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Is when I started making music, and I had come from kind of a school of musically, like understanding music is a pretty DIY thing.
Gotcha.
Like a lot of the music I was listening to was actually happening here in Athens.
Really?
Like, a lot of the Elephant Six Collective. People talk about like the Apples and Stereo.
Yeah.
Who now Robert Schneider's like a math professor at UGA.
Uh-huh.
Of Montreal.
Oh yeah.
Like Nutrimilk Hotel, the music tapes, and even beyond that, just like kind of the early 2000s indie, like the Unicorns. A lot of music was like very. It was before. It was right on the cusp, I guess, like 2007. You have like LCD Sound System was like a band that was merging electronic and indie music, and kind of before that, I don't know, like indie rock was kind of, there was a lot of like lo-fi, like lo-fi in a way that I'm not gonna say doesn't exist anymore, because I guess every subgenre exists to some extent on like on like a subreddit, but like
doesn't exist in the mainstream. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like I was listening to a lot of music that was like sampling and just like field microphones capturing noise and like collages and
soundscape.
So
and stuff.
Anyway, I made all my music myself, really lo-fi.
Okay.
From like 2010 through high school, and then I also had a folk band, and that was more like hi-fi. That was us trying to like do a more of a commercial thing.
Gotcha.
And, but yeah, that record Space Travel was the first time I collaborated with like a producer or really, just a friend.
Like something to put out officially,
Mm-hmm. And it, like, he helped. He played a lot of the instruments. He helped with the production. He pressed record, and so that was my first big, like, that was my biggest push at the time. And since then, it's been that, Cosmic House in 2017, and then Big Sky Pipe Dream.
I love that name, by the way. We're gonna get to that one. I love that. I wanted to ask you something about the folk band first. Did you guys tour a lot? Like, I can't imagine you being in a folk band. Was it the same energy, like live wise, or was it a completely different thing?
It was it was a similar energy live wise for
cool,
sure. I was playing a floor tom and a snare drum, and we were all four stood in a line. It was kind of it was a part of this kind of 2012 to 2014, like. It's kind of like that. There's the folk movement that became pretty mainstream, like with Mumford and Sons.
Yeah.
Really carrying that torch. But I was really, I did dig them, but I was really into like more so the Avett Brothers, and a lot of just like general folk music. But other modern artists like that were popularizing it were like the Lumineers, the Head and the Heart, Noah and the Whale. Yeah, a lot of like Irish, I guess, and like. Or I don't know.
There was definitely that moment though. It was like
island.
3 to 4 years. I guess 2011 through something,
or
something like that, where it was like happening. Like it was in all the movies and like it was a big deal on the radio, right?
Totally.
So you were into that. I wouldn't have guessed that about you, man. Like influenced by. I've never actually seen a full show, which I'm jealous about. I might catch one tonight. I hope. Southern Brewing Company, right?
Yeah, totally.
But anyway, I've seen just from the videos I've seen. Like if you'd have told me that before, he's like he's really influenced by folk and stuff. I'd have been like, no way, man. This dude's rock and roll, but like pop and psych and like keyboards and all that kind of stuff. So.
Well, that is true. Well, but I have such an understanding of like songs and harmony, like I'm saying, from such a stripped down level of like where I grew up to and I kind of think about it in terms of that how music works. That like David Byrne book, his like general ethos, and that is like you kind of create music to fit your situation or your space, and so it's like I think I also was influenced by folk music. One, it was popular, specifically at that time, but two, it was attainable. And I liked rock music in high school, but I didn't really understand how to play it. I didn't have the money to be able to get like pedals and amps. And I think we all kind of, me and my friends realized that. We were like, we could either be a rock band, which would be an expensive endeavor, and then secondarily, it's hard to do. I mean, at any point, if someone's like, can a rock band play right here in this room right now? It's like, well, we need amps, we need a PA system, we need
everything.
mics. And so folk music is such an accessible art form that I think I saw that as maybe like, here's my way to enter music is just I can sing and play guitar, and I could do that. And we were playing gigs, but we were also playing like anything. I mean, we could play at church, we could
open
play
mic,
a
stuff
froyo
like that.
shop, we could play an open mic, we could play a coffee shop. We played anytime anyone had anything going on, like our animal hospital's opening up, they would get us to come play.
Really? Okay.
Our there was like a virtual shooting range, and we went and played in their lobby on their grand opening. It's just like, we were just high school kids. We were literally doing anything anyone asked us to do anywhere.
That's super interesting, man. I've never really heard anybody talk about it like that, like as the most accessible thing you could do, like acoustics,
right?
Cajon or whatever drums you guys decided to do, super easy as opposed to rock band. You need quite the production. That makes a lot of sense.
Totally, and it's also you can practice anywhere.
Yeah, quietly.
You
That's
practice
nice.
in your bedroom with your band, and your parents aren't going to be like,
cut it off.
Yeah, they're going to be like they would say, like shutting it off.
Yeah, the power.
Not the power. Yeah. So,
when does it start evolving from that to kind of? I think you said 2 years between that and the next record, and pretty big shift from 15 to 17.
Right.
First to second record, right? When does that? What's kind of going on in that period? Are you just playing the road? Or are you guys just playing what you can? Graduating high school? Like, what kind of happens between those first two records?
So the folk band, we played like 200 shows across a couple of years.
Sheesh.
So that's when I first got the bug to start really playing.
Yeah.
And I kind of saw it as like, this is the quickest way. One, I had a love for performing. I always have. I've loved any type of presentation or performance. I did theater in high school as much as I could. I wasn't quite a thespian, but I was tinged in it. I enjoyed theater, but music was always my priority.
Yeah.
And
you seem to be a natural at the performing side of things. Did it
yeah,
always kind of come kind of naturally to you?
I think so.
It seems like it.
And I think it was something that I knew I wanted to do at an early age, and was kind of finding ways to get in front of people.
Gotcha.
So I got a lot of those nerves out from doing like talent shows and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
As
Gotcha.
a kid,
Yeah.
and theater as well. But yeah, like performing a lot with that band, and then by the time we were like graduating high school, it's kind of like everyone. If you're in a band, I feel like everyone would relate to this. When you're in a band, and I just thought of this right now, and you're out and you're graduating high school, you feel like you're at your like Abbey Road, like Beatles. You feel, because it's like you're all going in different ways. You're all into different things. You're
Absolutely.
like all like right when you started, you guys read you were all aligned, and now you're like, I want to do this, you want to do that.
What's gonna happen?
You're moving here, I'm staying here, and so the folk band just kind of naturally, like any high school band, had to go. But when I got to college, I knew that I had an interest in being a front man, and 2015. I put out Space Travel, and after that, I kind of was trying to figure it out. I formed a band right when I got to college with like a funk drummer that I knew, a bass player, and then this like Chili Peppers guitar player. And not a lot of people know about this, but because we only played a few shows, but it was basically me for the first time just being a front man holding a mic, and I would go crazy on stage. And that was my first time to really, really let loose. And then,
how did that feel? I mean, I assume you've been playing some sort of instrument in the folk group, and you say just being up there, just a mic, like absolute vibe change, right? Like,
it was
changes
great.
everything, right?
I could finally, because the folk band was high energy. We called it party folk, but this was like my first chance to really go hard. And then I wound up just kind of shifting that back to Nordista Freeze. And I've just been really since 2016. I started playing a lot locally. 2017, I played probably in Nashville over 100 times, and then just kind of in a very natural, slow and steady, well, not I guess slow, but in a steady way, became regional and a national touring act.
Yeah, U.S. kind of, right?
Totally.
That's awesome. Like, when did it? 100 shows a year is just honestly mad impressive. I mean, what are you up to now, averaging a year? It's more than that, right?
It's normally like 120 shows a year. Yeah.
Sheesh, that ain't too many weekends off, man.
It is not too many weekends. I should probably play a little bit less, honestly. But
you love it though. You love it. Nobody plays 120 shows unless they love it. You know what I mean?
Precisely.
Yeah. So I want to back up a second. We're gonna come back to the touring a lot because that's my talking list. I'm jealous of 120 a year. That's awesome. Where did the name Nordista Freeze come in? Like, when did that start being a thing? Was the folk group called that? It wouldn't have been, right?
No. The folk group had a couple different names, but I had a few different artist names and wound up going by Nordista Freeze by the time I was in like mid high school.
Really? That's early. Yeah.
So I had like 4, I guess, different ones I had been trying out, and I'd been putting music under Bandcamp, and
Yeah.
Really,
SoundCloud.
really liked Freeze, and
It's got a nice ring to it, man.
yeah, I really liked the name and stuck with it, and no turning. I realized, kind of when I came to that conclusion, even in high school, I was like, there's no turning back.
Yeah.
I really believe in like a name is a name, and you can't even fathom how many times your name has been said. Even, I mean, not even myself personally, just any band, even if you're just a high school band and you feel like you haven't made very many waves, it's like even just a teacher telling their their kids at the dinner table, it's just like a name can carry itself.
It's literally like your brand at this point. Like people call you Freeze, I'm sure, a lot, and Nordista a lot, right? Like separately, I mean, I couldn't imagine you being called anything else. Like the Freeze, like something about it is just cool sounding, man. Like it sounds really like iconic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you.
Not to like gas you up, but like it just sounds great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you say, like I have a lot of bands come on the show and they're like, yeah, man, we made our Spotify and there was like 6 other bands with the same name as us. I was like, so what are you guys gonna do about that? They were like, oh, nothing. We'll worry about it later. I was like, you guys might want to worry about that now, because like the deeper you get in, the name change, literally changes the brand per se or whatever.
Yeah.
So so you kind of stuck with it and run, and it's your name per se, but like, has it always been like a band to you? I guess. So like, I guess what I'm saying is like Bon Jovi is Bon Jovi's name, but it's still a band. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Is that kind of how you always thought about it, or your cast around you kind of supports you and they understand that?
I think about it. The Bon Jovi thing is funny. I do actually reference it. Like people say, I tell them my name's Freeze, and they say, "What's our last name?" And I explain. I always say it's like Bon Jovi.
I do that too.
Yeah, exactly. But that part is interesting because the project is continuously very collaborative, and there are certain members of my band who have now influenced multiple recordings or been or been around for a large percentage of touring, and other ones have not. They come and go. And I've had over 60 members of the band since 2017, and so because I tour more than it is sustainable for anyone else to tour with me. I mean,
they'd have to give it all up. It'd be
right?
like
exactly.
Either you're in or you're out for 100 shows.
They would have to say, like Nordista Freeze. Following you is my one passion in life. Yeah. And I have a few people who are very committed, but even they have to like take breaks, and because it could either be there's a lot of different reasons, but like if it's a romantic interest, it's hard to be away from someone for that long.
Yeah.
Family, personal, even just work. It's just like, hey, I'd love to be on tour, but I have to pay rent. Like I got to make some dough before I can come back out again, or maybe. Generally exhausting. Not everyone loves being on the road.
Exactly. It's a very select. Very select group. Has it been tough for you though? Like, all right, somebody can't go out. Like, oh shit, I got to find somebody to fill in for these shows that are in 2 weeks. Like, has that always been tough for you, or has it been pretty integratable since you're, I assume, from Nashville, right?
Right. Born and raised in Nashville.
Okay, so a few musicians around the town to pick from.
That definitely helps. Good? It definitely helps. It is. It is. I mean. It is without a doubt really tough. That's one of the hardest things about it is securing a band. And, you want to continually, as an artist, be like, whether you're changing a sound or you're refining a sound and, or like galvanizing it in a certain way, or you're like an alchemist, you're like boiling it down to the essentials. And it's like you got this sound and you're slowly figuring out what you want and your preferences. And especially when you've had 60 different people in a band, you start realizing what you like and don't like. You start realizing, and there's so many things. Like we just got off of a 2-month tour, and it was like at the end of the 2-month tour, right when we were about to end, we had 5 extra shows that we had booked. Like we were in Memphis. We're 3 hours from Nashville. We just shot up to like Davenport, Iowa, Winona, Minnesota, Appleton, Wisconsin. We kind of were doing this in like Chicago. We were doing this like Midwest, kind of hitting some new markets. And
absolutely.
And when we were playing those shows, like part of it was that I think like nobody was at any of the shows. They were all like extremely poorly attended. Yeah, but like my band like had flames in their hands. Like it was like I was looking around and then looking at the crowd and people, their jaws were dropped because it was just like
locked.
Yeah, we were on a wavelength that I had maybe never had, at least very rarely witnessed my band be able to achieve, because we were all in it for 2 months straight, and it was just like,
Gotcha.
this is the sound.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
There's something to be said about like playing with some guys where you don't have to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can literally just focus on performing, and they're doing the same. You know, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And we practiced 0 times across the 2-month tour because
you're just playing.
There's nowhere to practice, and you're playing every night. But things change slowly every night. Like this, like Darwin, it's like every night, it's like whatever things worked well. It's like everyone kind of somehow in their subconscious understood it, and then like does it the next night better.
Wow.
And to where like there's these things where it's like, even there was like a lot of choreography to the set. Like, oh, like how did you plan this choreography? It was like, well, we didn't. We just like realized if we all dropped to the floor at this one moment, like that looked cool or felt right.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
That's great, man.
So yeah, I mean, it would be great to not have to switch it, not so much, but I've definitely met a lot of really cool people, learned a lot about music, you know, in ways that you can't. I probably wouldn't have if I just had one.
Same guys
because you learn your preferences, you know.
Yeah.
So.
How would you know if you didn't play with somebody else? You know, you never know. That's great.
Right.
I assume that makes you pretty like lean in the. Well, I think it's cool that you can like. Imagine if you like a band like the Beatles. Obviously, if John can't make it, they got to cancel the shows. You know what I mean? But you can keep going. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Which is very, very nice when you're trying to play 100+ shows a year. I imagine.
Yeah, we always joke I'm the only person who's never in the band who's never missed a Nordista Freeze set. But then we were playing in Colombia like about a year, some change ago, like a little bit deeper into COVID, and I forgot that it was when it was like. Because things had gotten better, and then there was Delta, and I can't remember where it was, but it was at a point where I, for some reason, didn't have like a Vax card on me yet, or like I didn't have like I need to get like tested negative, something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I got to the show, and they were like, "Oh, you have to have this to play," and everyone else in my band had one. And I was like running to like Walgreens all across and like CVS. And we were like, dude, this is going to be the first one.
You can't make it.
They're like, the band's here. Like, let's still play. Like, Freeze. I was like, we could get like a 20-foot XLR. I'll like stand in the parking lot.
Sing along.
Yeah. That would have been pretty funny.
That would have been iconic, honestly. That would have been really cool.
Totally. It would have been unforgettable. So.
Well, that's cool, man. I think that's a really good breakdown of that. I know that feeling you're talking about when just everybody in the band just knows what's happening where. Like, that's a priceless feeling, you know, moments in the set. And how is your set kind of crafted as somebody who hasn't really caught a full set other than like videos on YouTube and Instagram and stuff? Like, is your set very like you guys work up your songs and have them in a certain order and have these moments in them and like choreographed kind of stuff, or is it like going out there, chaos is key? If we want to change a song, if we want to play something that somebody requests, like free flow. Like, how would you describe your show? I suppose
it's a little free flow, but we generally have like a game plan.
Yeah.
We'll kind of craft the set throughout the tour. Like, oh, let's switch this and this to where it's another thing where by the end of a run, we'll have kind of perfected what we're going for at that point.
Gotcha.
The set, I mean, that is the interesting thing, you know, back to that David Byrne ethos, creating music that fits your space and fits like who you are, fits your stage. You know, it's like, I think that the set is generally a pretty rock oriented set, and I do like rock music just like I like folk music. So it's not that it's insincere or that it's not just coming from a place of like my artistic passion, but there is a sense of like you're creating something based off what you can create. You're using the tools you have, and so a lot of the songs are like, you know, 3-4 chord rock songs, and that's just kind of the language you have to speak when you're switching people in and out. I've never gotten. I don't use any tracks. I don't use an in-ears, no in-ear rig. No, it is it's rock, but it's folk in the sense where it's like music of and for the people. It's not in any way overly conceptual or overly complicated, because it can't really afford to be, because that's not a language that's easily spoken.
And I assume that's important to you, like how, when it comes to like crowd awareness kind of stuff, how aware of you on that, and like obviously you want to get your songs across, you know, but like say you wrote something like a popular song of yours, it was slower, like are you still gonna play that? Or are you worried about everybody having a good time energy wise? Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry, that's a weird question.
That's exactly it, because you think about it, like no matter what, in seeing so many different bands and so many different contexts and like stages and festivals and spaces, you realize like there is so much going on. That isn't really like spoken about in terms of like accessibility and relatability. You know, coming from Nashville, not to zoom out too much, but you know, it's a songwriter town. There's a lot of co-writes happening. There's like artists who are basically a performer, or more of a curator, and the songwriters are other people, and they're writing the songs to get cut, and it's this whole lingo. And you've got players, and these players get plugged in, and they do sessions. And sessions means that they are recording, or maybe it's a live, you know. And or even like the bands that are forming, that are playing, the band members are like interchangeable, almost more the way that I'm doing it, but it's like on this like corporate level.
Yes.
So it's just interesting because what it means to even be an artist is such a general thing. And when you think about performing, you know, and you've got obviously. There's this understanding that people like original music to be performed versus covers. There's kind of this like, you know, we kind of everything that most people engage with in culture is like original music being performed, at least in like a semi-indie level.
It's encouraged.
Yes, it's encouraged. And I don't know. It's just like, how do you create a set that is accessible, that people go away from enjoying, but at the same time stays sincere to you? And when you have like, let's say when I'm DJing last night, and it's like I had this set, and then I had multiple people like, you know, just heckling me. Like people are just coming to the bar and they're just like, you know, like skip this song, or they're like, you know, play some hits, and it's just like, and I'm just like, well, I don't want to play hits, but at the same time, I'm a DJ. You're on the dance floor, and do I accept the fact that I should be curating this event to for your enjoyment, or is it am I the artist, and you know, you can actually like, you know, maybe I should just play what I want to play. Yeah. And so, you know, all that to say, you're talking about playing a slow song, it's like you do kind of everyone walks this line that's kind of unspoken of like, how much do I you know, create something that is just like can be enjoyed by like somebody walking by. Yes. And how much of this am I going to like just give in to my inclinations? I don't know. It's just an interesting conversation. It is. I'm fascinated. You know, people present it like they have some type of purity to it, and they want artists to like be completely true to themselves. And I think that I am, and I think most people are. But at the same time, I guess it just means there's a lot of nuance and gray space in terms of what that even means. You know what I mean? Yes,
because like. I think about this a lot. I'm glad you got some thoughts on it too. It sounds like you've thought about it before. Like, it's like I could do exactly what I want, you know, what I want. And like the crowd as a whole will have less of a good time. Or I could give them a little bit of something they want, you know, and everybody has more fun. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? I always like to say this, but it's like, how much of a fuck should I not give? Right. You know what I mean? Totally. It's interesting, man. It's really fascinating. It seems like you do a great job, though, of just like making sure everybody has a blast.
Yeah, well, I'm having a blast, so inherently there's a blast being had.
Somewhere in there.
yeah, totally.
Have you ever thought about, like, I assume not just because your originals are so fantastic, but like, I know it's not tougher tour routing wise, but like, you could get a guarantee if you were willing to do like a half cover, half originals thing somewhere for like a 2-hour, 3-hour set. Have you ever like considered that or done that? Or has it been like, nah, I kind of just want to do my 1-hour original set and get my point across?
You know, I'm not opposed to doing a cover set, especially if it was like a cash gig, you know, like a way to help me stay on tour.
Yeah, stay on the road, make money, that kind of stuff.
But it would require me having a consistent lineup, which I don't have. So I'm not opposed to it. But once I have a lineup that is with me all the time, then we could like learn a cover set. That'd be sick.
That would be honestly pretty interesting. I would love to hear you guys. The 2 hours of covers you guys would select would probably be pretty immaculate if I had to guess, like tasteful, cool stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
That'd be very cool.
We have had a few covers throughout the years. It's good. You know, having one like cover song in your set is really fun. Yeah, and a lot like if it's something that everybody knows. And you have your own take on it. It can really like it can be the highlight of the whole show for a fan to artist.
Especially for somebody who's just never heard of you, knows nothing about you. It's like, all right, there was one I knew, just banger, you know. Or I like to slide one in early so that anybody that's a little wary of us, you know, like give them a little something, you know, and then hit them with everything. But
and it can be if it's a more obscure song, it can kind of be a way to signal to certain people in the crowd like this is what we listen to. Yeah. Or if it's a more popular song, but you're covering it within your own, with your own ingredients, with your own flavor, then it can kind of be like this. We like pop music just like anyone else, but here's kind of how we present ourselves. Here's the language we speak.
There's like a cover, and then there's a cover that sounds like you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So you guys are about one cover a set, you think?
Yeah,
Maybe
right
tops.
now we don't have one, but sometimes we'll throw one.
What is your set list like at the moment? Is it like mainly Big Sky Pipe Dream, like a little mixture of everything that kind of works for you? Like, tell me about it a little bit.
We, generally Big Sky Pipe Dream will play like most of that record, and then we have 4 or 5 new songs that are unrecorded.
That's awesome. Yeah. You like playing new ones for people, seeing how they work in the setting?
I do, and I like, what I was talking about earlier about how something can kind of adapt over time. It can be good to play a song over and over, because even after like the end of 2 weeks or a month, all of a sudden your song has kind of found a form that you didn't quite know it would. Like you know the tempo, the dynamics and stuff.
Yeah. Is that how you usually recorded stuff too? Like, are you a big fan of like writing something, taking it on the road, testing it, like, oh, this maybe section doesn't work, this is cool, this is whatever, getting it to, like you're saying, that new space, and then recording it, or doesn't really matter to you?
I think it's I do think it's better to like have things be a little bit road tested.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole last record was both records. 2017's Cosmic House and 2021 Big Sky Pipe Dream were both tracked live. Like
playing together.
The whole band is playing live.
No click tracks or anything usually?
I don't think click.
Yeah.
Definitely not on Big Sky. I can't remember with Cosmic House. I don't think so, but the drummer was in his own room, so I mean he might have had a click, but I don't think so.
Yeah. So it's important to you that it sounds like you guys playing, kind of.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Yeah.
And just getting at least the roots of it, drums, bass, guitars, and like keys all recorded at the same time. Big Sky Pipe Dream was intentionally definitely no metronome. It was it was just it's like a 60s pop record.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I love the whole like promo run you guys did up to it. The cover art is sick, dude. It looks so vibey. Like,
thank you.
Hair looks super like curly and 80s looking. I don't know why. It's just cool, man.
Yeah.
The shirts are cool, dude. Dude, are you sold out of the Big Sky Pipe Dream shirts? I need to buy one from you.
I might be. I don't know. I think I am.
I'm gonna try to get one tonight if you got it. But they were cool. I was Insta stalking you a few days before this just to make sure I had all the details.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Let me take a second to thank my sponsors. Is that cool? Is that cool with you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Today, have you ever heard of No Athens?
No.
They're a company, or they're a platform based out of right here in Athens. They're pretty new. They're doing this really cool thing. They're like curating all the shows in Athens for a week, and then they post it twice a week. So it'll be like literally 50 shows on a graphic. No telling how long that takes to curate.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's very impressive. They're putting out these great little videos. They're giving you food deals. They're showing you where the bands are playing, bar deals, that kind of stuff. They're doing a wonderful job. They're taking a great interest in the show. Their episode's coming out soon. They're really nice people. You would like them. I want to put you in touch with them because they just did a video with Tommy Trotwan. Like they're really making some cool content in town.
Sweet.
So yeah, everybody go check out No Athens. Let's keep moving. Tell me a little bit more about Big Sky Pipe Dream, as in like, this would be your third record, right? It would have been your third or fourth?
Yes, it's my third on streaming services.
Okay, so and I know this is a few years in between each one. Is that just because you are the road dog? Like, you're not spending 100 days in the studio a year. You're spending 100 days on the road in the year. It's like when you get back, you've got a little bit of time to record, or is it just like kind of how it works for you? You know what I mean? Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, I have like a, I don't know. I go all in, and I was with records in like high school. I was all in. I mean, I made like 15 albums in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, I made just a crazy ton of music.
That's awesome.
Like late middle and high school, like, and because that's just what I did.
Yeah.
And now I tour like crazy, or at least have. I think I'm probably coming to the end of that era. But,
oh, really?
Yeah, but I for 5 years now have just been touring. I've played, I guess, 682 shows as Nordista Freeze.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's more than most people hit in their lifetime, dude. That's impressive, man.
Yeah, a lot of shows.
What is it about it? You just like love playing for the people, love the traveling, love seeing, I mean, like, just what is it? What makes somebody want to play that many shows?
I think in a lot of ways it was, and it's, in a lot of ways still is, but for the last 5 years has been, one, I knew it was the quickest way to grow my music. Like, not only was it something I enjoyed,
Yeah.
Obviously, like if I didn't enjoy it, I couldn't do it and sustain myself.
Absolutely.
I love playing. I'm very social. So being on the road is great. I love traveling. I love getting like a sample platter of America. Like I've been all across the country multiple times now. But it's like I've only spent one day in New Mexico or 2 days in Montana. But I've been there, and that's a really great thing to get to do. If I encourage anyone, if they have a chance to do that kind of fast travel, it's a good way to kind of at least just witness everything and kind of see where you want to go back and spend more time.
Like a culture grab kind of thing, like this place is different stuff,
Totally. Yeah. And now I've gotten to spend more time in certain areas because of that. And, but also in terms of music business, I think it is the fastest way to grow your music and to grow a real fan base, like the greatest example of that is, I guess, my Instagram. I have like 13,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow, man, that's a great follow.
And it is. And but I mean, those are pretty much all people I've met. I mean, most of the people on there I've met. And so it's like
that's great.
It's not like a type of virality. I have never experienced any type of virality or like fast track and not even for a day. Like I never feel I've never
TikToks
I've
blowing
never
up
felt that high. Yeah, like sincerely. But
that's the thing is I wonder how like lasting it is. Like I see these bands that get playlisted and stuff, and getting millions of streams and stuff. It's like how many of those people are actually coming to see them, or whatever, or like really fans and gonna buy a T-shirt and actually love you, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Same with like TikTok and stuff like that. I wonder.
It is something that we ponder. It's like what is gonna happen? Yeah. But because once TikTok started, people started, like internet numbers and everything doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's I felt like it was the fastest way to grow my music and to create like a sustainable fan base. I think I didn't realize that I was really on the verge. Now I feel like if I keep doing what I've been doing, I'm gonna have like a cult following, but I don't know if I will ever make it past playing 250 clubs. Like
gotcha.
I kind of just feel like that's the trajectory. That's the trajectory I feel like I'm on. Like you when you tour like crazy and you only put all of your effort into that is what you're building is like a live, consistent fan base that like. I mean, but I guess I do like making records and stuff too, and so I'd like to transition back into a space where I can kind of do both more in like a healthy way. Is what I'm trying to say.
That makes a lot of sense. Are you kind of saying that like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but like say you play in the Run, just Columbia, South Carolina, you do like New Brooklyn Tavern, Flicker here, and another Cherry Street Tavern in Chattanooga or whatever.
Sure.
All small cap clubs, like stuff. Maybe, probably. I mean, I don't know how big your following is, but me personally, not going to sell too many tickets for those kind of things just as a new band.
Right.
Are you kind of saying that like maybe take a step back from playing the bulk of shows and like trying to like make the show a big show when you're in town, like get on the bill with Hotel Fiction at Georgia Theater and like do that in every city? Or does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yes, I think it all comes back. Yes, exactly. Like creating, I think, more of a conceptual show as well. Like which I could do if I played less and had more time to prepare.
Yes.
And it's kind of hard to explain, but that's basically the ethos. It's like, what if I think I'm interested now in kind of transitioning back into something that's more balanced and that I can push myself more, I think, creatively versus just being a total road dog. But I enjoy the road thing, and it has been very fruitful. And I think last year was a testament to what I'd done in the last 5 years, because I was able to I won the Music City Mayhem in Nashville, which was a big competition.
That's awesome, dude.
It's like a really difficult battle of the bands thing that's like vote based.
That's awesome, dude. Good for you.
Yeah, winning that was a really big deal for me in Nashville.
I mean, that's a fan base. Like, you got to go, and you can't do that unless you're out there playing, So
totally,
good for you, man. Good for you.
That I felt like that was a really cool.
It's a big town too. Good for you. I mean,
it is a big town, and that competition is really hard. And then I also did a Kickstarter to fund Big Sky Pipe Dream.
I heard that. Didn't you buy a van out of it?
I bought a van, created vinyl, and really just I was able to do my first, like, basically I was working with a small team of people to kind of try to do like a major label push on an independent album. Like we had promotional campaign and
Yeah.
you know,
Distribution kind of stuff.
yes. We had like playlisting and PR and all that kind of like a radio campaign. So the music was being shared like across college radio all across the country.
Like big picture stuff.
Yeah, and kind of just things that I had never done before as someone who's just completely independent. So it was cool trying that out. In a lot of ways, I think it was unsuccessful in terms of like you can really throw money into your record in ways like that. And I don't know. I feel like I learned a lot. Yeah, totally.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like even if you did waste money, like big lessons learned, you know, right? Because everybody just thinks, you know, it's like, damn, if I just had enough money to run those Facebook and Instagram ads and get it pushed to radio, stuff like that, like that it'll just go, you know, but not that simple, right?
It was a thing in my mind that I thought, like, oh, if I had more money, I could grow my music faster by using these avenues, and then actually getting a chance to try the avenues and realizing, oh, you can put, you know, thousands of dollars into a PR campaign every month, and those people can send emails to Pitchfork, but that doesn't mean you're gonna do your music's gonna go anywhere. Those emails can fall flat. So you just got right back on the road and kept doing it.
Okay, that's interesting to me. I'm glad you said that because I didn't know that you guys had run that kind of campaign on it. And I've had people in here that kind of done the same thing, like spent the several grand on the publicist kind of thing and like got the write up in Billboard or whatever. And I'm like, did it translate? You know what I mean? And they pretty much were saying that it didn't. It's like, oh, what do you think? You know, you get that Billboard write up, like, there we go. Like, that's it, right? To the top. You know what I mean? But
totally. The only way I could really see, I mean, the biggest, like if I got to write up in Billboard, what I would think is the only way that would really help me monetarily or fame wise would be like that you could kind of put it in your EPK, which for people who don't know, it's like your electronic press kit, basically your resume, what you're sending to venues, and if a venue has seen that you're on Billboard, it might catch their attention.
Might be a little more interesting.
So you know, really, like a PR campaign is kind of like almost just trying to create a thing that you can put into your little briefcase or your binder to be like, oh, look, we've been. But my only example of that is that I was on NPR in 2020. They did a little write up for one of my songs, and and that did help me a lot, and that's helped me land stuff.
So when you say it helped you a lot, you mean like kind of in the way of throwing in your press kit, venues were more interested, maybe your streams got a bump, stuff like that, like technical stuff?
Not even the streams as much. Mainly just talent buyers seeing that we have nationally, you know, a national write-up.
When you say that you like are looking to kind of even out the whole like studio and road thing, like maybe come off the road a little bit instead of just being absolutely consumed with it, are you thinking in the way of like, you'd mentioned virality earlier, like maybe take some time and like make some content, like some of these bands that focus on that per se? Is that something you're interested in? Like kind of giving your music an online steam or buzz that would translate into you getting booked at Masquerade or wherever and doing tickets from people that don't know you?
Totally. I think so. I think just, and you know, for some reason people call it content now. Yeah. Like it's like people talk about content and it's like, something about that word is really weird to me, but it's like just creating art in any form would be interesting. And, you know, like if whether it is a TikTok or it's a YouTube video, you know, those are apps, those are platforms. YouTube, that is a thing that exists where people go to watch stuff. Instagram, those are all avenues, and just thinking about how you can communicate on any type of platform, whether it is live or on any type of web-based application. Just how can you translate on those? So yeah, I am interested in like creating something. I don't know what it is and what platform it is per se. Obviously, it's gonna keep being music that you find on a streaming platform. Of course, but maybe there's also a music video. Or maybe it is a TikTok, or maybe it's a
reel or whatever.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what it is, and I don't mean to be obtuse. I feel like that sounds a little bit obtuse or a little bit. But I'm just trying to say, like, I want to create stuff. Yeah, I want to play.
Kind of like telling the story. Like I liked you make some good content already though. Is what I'm saying. I guess is like the what was it, the Wordle or the Quizlet or Quiz. What was
Quiplash.
that thing? Quiplash. That's it. You were making a bunch of funny videos for that. I was like, what? Just for the first couple months, I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But then I was just cracking up. But like that content was very you, like you at the shows, joking around about it. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, totally.
finding that middle. Like I don't really want to make TikTok videos. Like I want to go take moments from the show and turn that into the content. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Say
totally.
Content, but you know what I mean?
No, it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it is content, but it's just,
Yeah.
it's what I mean is just like with content, there's people talk about it like it's a chore to do. And it's just like,
yes.
that sucks. Like what a drag,
Oh, yeah.
what a
Oh,
drag,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like I hope that if I'm making something, I'm like enjoying it. Like
Absolutely.
a podcast. I know, like I do a podcast, and
I
it's
knew
like,
this. I was going to ask this.
and
I'm
it's
excited.
like you can. There is a lot of hustle to it, like the things you have to do
Editing
when we
videos.
in the recording, like
Yeah.
promoting it and editing it and fine tuning it or putting EQ on this or that. But like, but at the end of the day, like I don't know. You hate to think about it as a chore. It's like a passion.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's something you enjoy doing.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it shouldn't be annoying. Even shows sometimes I find myself like damn it, we got to go to Columbia this weekend. Like just when you're beat on the road, I'm like, oh dang, we got to go
Yeah.
play a show. Like we got it so tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, have you had any trouble like content for you? I hate to say content again, but like turning into a chore. Like, oh, we gotta film this show and post it.
Yeah, I think that is starting to feel that with shows is like a really weird like alarm to me because I've never felt that before.
Yeah.
And I still don't really like when I get to a city, I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
And I love playing the shows, but it does. But my first time having kind of being like starting to really feel some warning signs in my like soul where I'm like, man, I really need to just create some stuff. Like I miss that. I miss being in a sandbox. And now I'm like, I don't know. So
I get what you mean.
trying to listen to yourself in those kind of ways. Like what do I want to create? And not, if it is a chore, then making sure it's like a healthy chore. It's not like, like obviously, like we're saying, like the music business nowadays, as an independent artist, there is a lot of back work that you have to do that people have no idea about, and emails
sure.
and spreadsheets and stuff. And that is a chore, but it's a chore worth doing. And I just hope that I never dread playing live or dread doing anything, because then I should probably rethink it.
Yeah, for sure. That's super interesting, man. I'm glad you're saying some of this stuff, because I think this stuff too. It's like, don't know if I could do this forever kind of stuff sometimes. You know what I mean? It's just like you got to stay with the part of it you love, which is for you playing, I assume, recording, stuff like that.
Totally.
So I guess to keep moving along from this, but like, what is your favorite part about being a performer?
My favorite part of being a performer?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love getting up there. When I'm on stage, I feel really free.
Yeah.
I have a great time. I feel more and more freedom over the years. Like every show I play, I get more free. It's really fun.
You seem really free up there.
Yeah. And I'm just having a blast. I mean, I do go up there. I mean, maybe I have a set list, but the set really can take whatever turn we want it to. We definitely read the energy within each other and within the room, whatever it is. It is very spontaneous, and I love that.
Do you find it tough sometimes when, like, I mean, I'm sure playing as many shows you do a year, you go to some places where some crowds maybe like aren't up for what you're putting down, or like the vibe isn't right, weird vibe, kind of stuff like that. Do you have any trouble with that, like kind of trying to bring this chaotic energy where it's not reciprocated per se?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, we play a lot of different events, and it can be. It can take a second for crowds to understand what's going on, and we're very different than what they expect. And I don't know. Yeah, we deal with that, but I don't know. I had a drummer in like 4 or 5 years ago named Brant, and he told me something that I never forgot. And he was like, if the energy is not coming from out there, you just got to turn, and we'll all get it from each other. And I definitely think that's true. You want to connect with the crowd, but if the crowd's not going to connect with you, then you kind of just got to turn within and be like, we love playing music. We're here. Let's play some music.
Play for each other kind of stuff,
let's
right?
find ways to make it interesting for us. Like we might, switch things up a little bit. So.
Yeah, it seems like I keep saying chaotic energy, because that's just when I see the videos of you, it just seems like it, like something has taken you over, and you're running across 4 lanes of traffic or something, you know what I mean? Like, or you're jumping in the crowd or whatever it is, or shaking 3 tambourines at once. It's like, What is it about playing that does that for you? Or like, I don't know how to ask this, but like, why do you feel like that? You get what I mean? It's a big question, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. It's just, I feel a freedom up there that I feel, and I know it translates to people. Like, people feel free when they're at the show, and it's healing, and, you know, like I think it does a lot of good for a lot of people when they can witness it and experience what I'm experiencing, and I can share that with people, and that can make your day, and that can make your week. Yeah. And, you know. You're
making people's nights, you know what I mean? That's how I try to look at it. It's like, damn, we might have made somebody's night tonight, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I love that. I love that.
Do you have a favorite? I mean, as many shows you played, I'm sure there's plenty, but like, is there a show maybe in the past year or maybe overall that stuck out to you as like maybe one of your favorite shows? Anything in particular?
Not really, no.
No, just all of them?
Yeah. I only say that because I really don't have one. Like, I really can't think of one.
Yeah,
I love playing.
They're all great.
Yeah, and every city, you know, doing it on an independent level without any type of national success or virality, like we're talking about, it really makes every city its own unique relationship. So,
gotcha.
Thinking about Athens, I was actually just looking at my spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet of every show I've ever played.
Oh,
I was
really?
looking at
That's
all the
awesome.
shows I played in Athens.
Yeah,
it's just kind of cool how it grows, and there's just special moments all along the way, whether you know, the shows at Caledonia Lounge that I played,
rip. Gone but forgotten.
The first time I played at Academia Brewery, you know, it was the first time I'd ever played in Athens.
Really?
Yeah, and just playing a couple big shows at the Georgia Theater, a couple shows on the rooftop, played the 40-watt.
Everywhere.
Now I'm playing at Southern Brewing Co., which I've never been to.
You never been to?
No.
It's a really good vibe out there, man. Cool place.
Yeah,
cool
I'm
place.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So it's cool to see a relationship with a city continue to change and shift. And
How would you compare Athens to like other cities you played? Because like it seems like, or at least I think, if you have a great following here. By the way, your name comes up all the time on the show. It comes up all the time.
Sweet.
It usually goes, oh, dude, you got to check out this Freeze guy. He's fucking crazy, man. I'm like, yeah, dude, I know who you're talking about. He's awesome. I remember like the Freeze Fest thing was like the first I'd kind of heard of you, like all the Elijah Johnson, all the Hotel Fiction people were talking about it. I don't know. They went to Nashville and played with you guys or something.
They played at Freeze Fest 5,
Yeah, something like that. And that was when the buzz started hearing. Like, is there anything about Athens that like has made it be a note for you to keep coming back here?
Well, when I first, you know, started playing regionally, it's not that far from Nashville. It's obviously was on my radar. It's like a southeastern city.
Yeah.
And I quickly began to realize, like, after only playing a couple times, that there was kind of this dichotomous thing that, I mean, is very evident. I think everyone who lives here knows what I'm talking about. There's a college crowd, and there's the townies, and not even a fraternal college crowd. I mean, that might be the third genre of crowd, but I was playing shows, and it was like, there's like these like, there's like Flicker Bar and World Famous, and there's like this vibe. There's like this very creative, and it's been here for decades.
Absolutely.
And there's this very, there's a certain vibe, and then there's this kind of like always hitting refresh because there's this college crowd, and there's people coming in and coming out quickly, and I don't know, I just kind of realized there's like two things at play, and I still like, when I play, I kind of am in the middle. Because
I think so.
I'm not a UGA band, but I'm also not a townie. I'm just which I'm sure other touring bands relate to, but you kind of show up and you're like feeling these different energies.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
All packed in to this crazy downtown with a million bars and frats just like walking by or coming to my shows. I've had entire fraternities come to my shows, and it's just, there's
That's
just
great.
Like, I don't know. It's
hard to put your finger on, right?
Yeah, it's a very unique, just like, if you can't sum it all up into one word or flavor because it's like so vastly different in form in Athens, and it's a small town, but it's also a big town. It's like it's very unique, and I don't know exactly how it became one of my top markets, but you are right. Like, it is like top.
Oh, people know you here.
I mean, I don't have like a list, but I can say, like, if you're like, what cities do you do well in? It's like Greenville, Charleston, Savannah, and Athens. If I was going to play like a weekend Thursday, Saturday. Those would be
That would be it. Yeah.
Thursday through Sunday. That's what I would hit. So, yeah, I love it here, and
That's awesome, dude. I know exactly what you're saying. Like, it's so hard to describe, but it's like you go to 40 Watt and see like the coolest like indie pop band or whatever lineup, and then you walk 2 doors down to Flickr and there's 3 metal bands playing, and then you go to Boar's Head and there's a fraternity band that's packed out, and Georgia Theater, it's a touring country act. Like, it's like you got everything going on. It's very cool. Very cool.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
man. And dude, I mean it when I say you got a lot of fans here, dude. People bring you up, especially after the Hotel Fiction thing at Georgia Theater, which I want you to tell me a little bit about. But there was definitely a buzz. They're like, dude, this Freeze guy's crazy, man. It was awesome. And they're like, dude, honestly, Freeze was just as good as Hotel Fiction. It was awesome, dude. That was great. Yeah. So tell me about that show a little bit.
That was awesome. That was just I felt like that was Hotel Fiction have been very sweet to me. They're
fantastic.
They, I think, surprised a lot of people, and I've said this to their face, like. And it's not because they're girls. It's because I didn't know they did music. Like Elijah, Tommy, and a lot of cats, even like Lighthearted.
Yeah. They're fantastic too.
You know, like I've known all those people for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And when, Jade's saying like, oh, we're starting a band, it was like, sweet, like you guys should open for us next time we're in town. Like, let's get y'all going.
Yeah.
Let's get y'all going. And then it's just kind of like, oh, okay. Or we could
moonshot.
Or we would love to open for you, if you've got the time on your schedule.
If you could answer.
So, I mean, it was just crazy. Like the music they make is awesome.
So good.
They have a great set and it connects with people. It's just it's great. Yeah. And so, I'm sure they don't see it as throwing me a bone, but for me, it did feel like they'd been to a bunch of my shows, and for them to let me open for them for, the biggest crowd I've played for yet in Athens was really cool. And I mean, getting to play the theater is iconic and cool, and I hope I get to do it again soon. But
absolutely,
I'm not quite on that level. So unless it's an opportunity like that, it's like I'll probably play somewhere else.
I guess where you would say it was like them throwing you a bone is like they could have easily gotten an Athens act that like will automatically do tickets because they're from Athens. You know what I mean? Same with you. Like if you're playing in Nashville, it's like, oh, we could get. I mean, Hotel Fiction's a bad example because they can sell tickets anywhere now, it seems like. But like, we get Hotel Fiction, but they'll do 150, 200 tickets less than if you got your buddy that lives there. You know what I mean?
Right, totally.
So that was very cool of them to do that, and that whole show swap thing is a great thing. So yeah, I get what you mean. And I kind of think of you guys like, you probably don't because you're not from here, but like I think of you. Tommy Trotwine, Elijah Johnson, Hotel Fiction. Like I think of y'all as one thing, kind of, if that makes sense.
That's cool. Yeah,
I do.
Well, it kind of just worked out that way. I guess we would have met each other either way, but Elijah, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to say something untrue, but from what I understand, his first show ever was in Atlanta at, I think it's called the Elephant Gallery? The Mammal Gallery? No, the Mammal Gallery, I think, in downtown Atlanta. And I was on that bill.
Really?
It was booked by a guy named Ian of the band Dinner Time.
Okay.
And he just put it together, and it was Elijah.
He played acoustic, right?
Sitting down, playing acoustic guitar, and his dad was there. And it was just, that's how we met. And really? I've just always thought he's so sick.
Such a great writer.
Like, when I played at Academia, I asked him to play, and it was like me, him, and like I think Quasimodo. Is that their name?
Never heard
something like that. And I can verify that too. But then we just kept playing together, and we Drew Beskin became a really pivotal character
that's
in
my homie.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, I love him.
He really helped us. Like he elevated me because Kyler Volmar is my buddy who used to live here, and he's a photographer, and he was throwing a house show, and that local publication, is it called Red and White?
Red and Black.
Red and Black, my
yes,
bad.
Sir. No, you're
Red
good.
And Black. I said the UGA colors. I don't know. But Red and Black wrote an article about the house show, and kind of like, I guess the phrase like blew up the spot.
Gotcha.
Unintentionally, but they were just kind of like, yo, like Kyler's throwing a house show tonight. And the cops like literally showed up to his house. Like,
is this the one that Hefner played too? Do you know Hefner?
Hefner was not on this bill.
Okay,
no.
Gotcha.
But I do know those cats. But,
they're awesome, yeah.
But like the cops showed up at like in just the afternoon. They're like, yo, what's this article? Like, you guys can't throw a house show. And so
too late.
We were already driving down. It was like going to be us. I think Elijah maybe and Tommy.
Yeah.
And anyway, Drew Beskin was like, y'all can do it on the rooftop.
Oh, nice.
And he paid everyone too, like paid all the bands. And
He's the dude, man.
Like let us that day
Yeah.
play the rooftop. He ran sound himself on an iPad, and like that's how I got into the Georgia Theater.
Yeah.
Because he just opened that door for me, and then he had us back, and then he was like, "Man, we got to get you downstairs." And I was like, "Well, I mean, yeah, maybe like in years." And he was like, he knew my birthday was coming up, and he booked me a 4-band bill headlining show at the Georgia Theater in September.
I didn't know this.
On my birthday in 2019. Yeah, I played the Georgia Theater. That was my first time. Hotel Fiction was the second time. But I mean, that was just incredibly sweet thing for him to do.
What a nice guy, man.
That.
He's been on the show twice, and Elijah's been on the show twice, and Drew, I call him every week and just ask him about something, just like asking him questions, because he's such a smart guy about like music, you know what I mean? Like just got the experience. He got me into Georgia Theater, dude. Just the nicest guy, man.
Cool. Yeah.
So that's awesome, dude. I had no real. I thought that your time with Hotel Fiction would have been the first.
No, that one was definitely a lot bigger. The one that I did was like, there wasn't as many people, obviously.
It's a big room, man. It's a big room.
It's a daunting room. In some ways, it's smaller than you expect.
When you get on stage, you're like, all right, it doesn't look as big up here, kind of, to me at least, like the floor part. If that makes sense. Totally. The up still looks big. You know what I mean?
Right. It's built in a way to where, like, if you could have like 300 people, it would start feeling good, but then it can kind of just keep expanding up into the sides and the mezzanine and stuff.
That's so interesting. So you have played with them a lot. You guys are kind of in the same spirit. I wondered, I was listening to your music today just before you came, just to like make sure I was getting the vibe, and I wrote that I kind of thought Dolphin like kind of sounds like it has an Elijah Johnson thing to me, but I think he would have took it from you though, if that makes sense. Or like it's like the same vibe. Do you get what I mean? Lyrically.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do you get what I mean?
I wonder why that is. I think we have a really similar music taste, and
I'd wondered if one of y'all was taking out each other's toolbox. I need to just ask Elijah. He'd probably be like, nah, but you know, I'm just curious because I was like, that's kind of Elijah Johnson in me. Very cool.
That's funny. I would have. I don't know, man.
Like the playful, like cool guitar thing, and like the lyrics are great. I wrote down, is that the one with words about forever, slowly turn to never? I feel like that's a great line. That hits. That's
Thank
cool,
you, man.
Very
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah, I don't know. I bet if we both made you a playlist, we would have the same bands on.
I believe that.
Him and I talk a lot about music and film as well. We have a similar film taste. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about Dolphin. I think Dolphin would be my favorite one. It doesn't actually say Dolphin in the song, does it?
It says it at the very end. It says, I want to own a dolphin.
Okay,
and
okay.
Like, with all those symbols are swelling.
Yeah.
But
that's probably my favorite one by you, man. I really like the vibe of that one. It's
Thank you.
Very tasty.
Thank you. That song I wrote in high school and just kind of workshopped and kept working with. And yeah, I don't know. It's got that little riff on the 12 string. Kind of Kinks-esque. It sounds like the Kinks, or got some. We play it live with a lot of energy. It sounds completely different live, but
that's awesome.
Kind of a laid back. Yeah, kind of I think kind of a Twin Peaks vibe too, like in terms of just like a rambly, jingle jangly guitars and kind of a more like sedated, like apathetic, like vocal take that's like a little bit deeper. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like you're kind of leaning back. So that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
kind of laid back,
not rushing anything.
Yeah,
a very cool song, man. I like it. It's just a vibe, and it's like got like the playful thing to it almost. Like
totally
not too serious, not too dark or bright. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's it's got that kind of melancholia of like, you know, delivering kind of a sad. Some like concept. I don't know. Yeah, it's like sadder lyrics, playful lyrics, and then you've got this like, no. It's just like playful riff that kind of just keeps it cheerful in almost kind of a sarcastic way. It's like,
I could sarcastic would make sense.
Yeah.
It's like the playful thing, man. It's really great. I enjoy it. That's probably my favorite one from you. I'll take one more pause to take my other show sponsor if you don't mind. Is that
Let's
cool with
do
you,
it.
Have you ever? You probably haven't spent too much time down there, but Hefner just played here. It's this place called Clark's Collective downtown. You ever heard of it?
I have not. I'm excited to hear about it now.
It's fantastic. They're the nicest guys. Rip over there. It's been wonderful to me. He was really the first show sponsor to kind of take a shot on us and give us some money and like see how it could help them. Do you know what I mean? Which is really cool. We just did an episode in Clark's, which is really cool. They've got a stage in there, and they're having a lot of bands. He wanted me to spread the word that they're kind of booking fall out now, and they got a lot of bands hitting them up. If you guys hit him up, tell him the Jameson on the Rocks podcast sent you. He will book you for sure almost. You should reach out to him, man. If you ever need a routing date, like Hefner just did it, and they had a fantastic crowd. It's got like it could be a good middle for you in like, it's not like the Donia or Flicker or something where it's like 3-band bills, but you could go in there and play an hour and a half or whatever, and you'll get a rotating crowd in and out of people that probably would never have seen you, like ticketed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you get paid. It's cool, man. It's great.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so y'all check out Clark's, man. They've been wonderful to us. Moving along, I wanted to ask you about Fight Song, dude. This is another one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Which record is this on?
Fight Song is the final song on Big Sky Pipe Dream, the most recent record.
It sounds like it's from a movie. Like it sounds like a part of the movie where it would cut to a song and like all the people are doing something in the movie. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Mo, hey, let's get that going. That's where the music industry is lucrative.
Yes, man.
A good sync placement.
Netflix, if you're listening, Stranger Things, hit us up, please.
Yeah, dude, that would be cool. Fight Song is that's kind of a, I don't know. It's in some ways it's a playful song as well. It's a little bit simple intentionally. Got some very simple rhymes. It's kind of a song about, two people who like love each other, but they're like, let's get this show going.
Yeah.
Let's stop waiting around.
Exactly. Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the process like on writing that one? Actually, what is your writing process as a whole? Do you have a process, or I assume being the center figure in the band, you're bringing in the lyrics and the music per se usually, right?
Yeah, I write all the songs.
Yeah.
I'll write it on acoustic or electric guitar, maybe on Logic nowadays. I don't know, kind of. I don't have a writing process.
Okay.
Which I kind of intentionally. I kind of am always trying to find a new way to write a song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think
Absolutely.
that's part. Like nothing really works best for me. So that song I wrote actually for class. I was in a songwriting class.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no. Songwriting class.
You're
It's
good.
tough to teach. You know what I mean?
That's
funny.
I turned it in, and my teacher was like really critical. He's like of everyone. Like he's like really like harsh, and he would rip people's songs apart.
Damn.
And I took him that song and another song at a different time, and he would just be like, "Yep, well, sounds good." I was kind of like, why? And not to say that I was like, this is a masterpiece, but for some reason he didn't have any critique.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I assume that he thought pretty highly of it.
I guess, I don't know. I couldn't quite figure out what was going on, but I just wound up playing it. A lot of my songs, I'll just write, and then they carry themselves to the top. They get finished, and then they find their way on the set list, and then.
Well, what's something on your set list that's always there? Is there anything that's always there? Like, do you have one that's like, that's my heater, or a few that are like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, the first half of Big Sky Pipe Dream, a lot of the songs we've been playing for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Dolphin,
Love
Wisteria, First Time, and Fight Song specifically. Yeah, we've been playing for a minute, probably since like 2019.
How does All I Want to Do? Is that a good one live?
Yeah.
A little slower, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do that one a little bit faster.
Ooh, yeah.
Live, and yeah, people like that song.
It sounds like a I hate to say classic song, but like it's got that like classic-y, like almost like a Christmas song or something vibe to me. A little bit, right?
Yeah, it's like a doo-wop, almost more. I always say 60s, but that's almost more of a 50s song.
Really?
I'd say.
That would be what I meant when I said it. It sounds kind of classic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know how to. I know it's vague. Hard to describe.
Yeah.
How about Wisteria?
Classic.
You love playing this one? This is your number one streamed on Spotify. I know that don't mean
Yes.
too much, but I love this song. It's a good one.
Wisteria broke through. It got on Discover Weekly. And
Really?
That's
huge.
That's why it's got all the streams. It's because I don't know how that stuff works, but it's on Discover Weekly, and so it gets sent to like 1,000 to 2,000 people every beginning of every week, and people
pick it up.
So I mean, that's a song that if I play it live, people are like, "Oh, I know that one."
Yeah.
Like, I've heard that one. Like I have that on a playlist.
Yeah. Do you kind of try to close with that sort of stuff usually? Like I guess as someone who's playing a lot of shows these days personally, and like our music doesn't have very much clout yet, not very much listeners, but like we have a great fan base that we built through covers in a different way. Like I guess I'm kind of like we need to save our song that people might know to the end, or something like
Mm-hmm.
strategically placed to one that people will know, because as I'm sure you do, played a lot of crowds who have no idea who you are.
Right.
Yeah. Do you any thought of that? Like,
Yes. I do put thought into that.
Yeah.
I typically put Wisteria a little bit closer to the beginning.
okay.
I guess mainly I think I agree with the premise of what you're saying, but I don't
Yeah.
know if I don't think it applies to me yet because my set is so short. If I was
Okay.
headlining and doing like an hour and a half set,
Yeah.
then maybe I would put it like maybe 75% of the way in. But
Gotcha.
with the sets that we still play like 45-minute sets.
Yeah?
So it's like, I mean, we rarely play more than that. So
About 10 songs, 8 songs, something like that?
yeah, maybe 10. My song's really short. Sometimes I can even do like 12.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I'm really big, like, not setlist nerd, but like I probably think about it too hard, like structuring and stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just kind of trying to see how you think on that. Is in like, is there any way you think of that? Like, all right, let's make the first 2 songs a ton of energy, and then we slow it down, then we bring it back up.
Oh,
And-
totally.
Yeah.
I definitely think about that.
Yeah.
The riding that wave, and
Mm-hmm.
that is really important to me.
Love
Yeah.
that,
In like my buddy Sam, or Smoz, people know him, SMA.
Uh-huh.
He cares a lot about that too, and we were in that band
Yeah.
together in high school, and so he's always been someone who has held me accountable in terms of being like very particular with my sets and set list, and
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, that's everything. I mean, the dynamic of a set list in terms of a good live show, and just how the energy feeds into. Same with the DJ set,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It goes back to like, how much of a fuck should I not give? You know what I mean?
totally.
What do you think about, like, as
Totally.
somebody who's really good and, in my opinion, proficient in like winning crowds over? Like, is there anything in particular you do early to like win crowds over? Like, what if you had to give somebody, a new frontman, tips on how to win a crowd over? What would you say? Big question.
I think you can definitely give off an energy that is welcoming or one that's not, and I think I don't know.
Yeah.
That's tricky because I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of things at play, and it just depends on how people are perceiving you. Sometimes I really get on a really sarcastic level where I'm like almost just only saying things that aren't true, and people eat that up.
Yeah, I love it.
And sometimes it's about being incredibly sincere with the crowd and like making them feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, like it depends.
Yeah, it does.
Depends.
And sometimes I get all up in their grill. Like sometimes I'm running around through the crowd.
Yeah.
I'm like doing a lot of antics. And sometimes I get up on stage and like I'm just like, this is my stage. I'm not gonna step off of it.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, you're gonna climb that? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna like run out through the crowd? I'm like, probably not. Like I don't know. Like it's hard to explain. You get up there and you feel how people feel, and I never want to like make them feel uncomfortable in that kind of way. Like you want them to feel uncomfortable in some ways, like pushed or compelled,
Absolutely.
but not like you don't want them to feel like they don't want to be there.
That's an interesting thought. You want them to feel uncomfortable in different ways. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I never would have thought of it that way.
Well, that's the thing is like when it goes back to the DJ set too, what I was talking about when I first hopped on here is like sometimes we like it when artists challenge us. We like it when artists give us a song that's not what we're anticipating, or an album we're not anticipating. We don't want every DJ to just play the 80s hits, and it's like it's hard to explain because we know what we want, but then sometimes in any type of artist, this could have to do with feng shui. This could have to be doing with, it could be a culinary thing.
Yeah.
It can be a film. I mean, how many times do your friends watch a film and they're like, you kind of got to watch it twice. And you're like, why? And they're like, because, it get, like at first when I saw it, I didn't even really like it. And it's like, what? Or like at first when I ate this food, like I didn't like it.
Yeah,
and it's like, now it's my favorite dish. And it's like, we as artists, I've heard it. I read one book called Culture Care by this like Japanese painter, and he described it as like border stalking. He says like artists are like on the borders of culture, and they always are, and they feed from different parts of it. And that's in some ways why when we present things, it's maybe it doesn't totally make sense because it doesn't come from the center of a culture. It comes from like the exterior, and people can kind of
That's
then
interesting.
form around it. And
Yeah.
maybe they like, like I think great cultural example is Tame Impala.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, people were kind of taken aback by it, and then they're like, "Oh, we love this."
Yeah,
And then it's like
yeah.
every band wants
Yeah.
to be Mac DeMarco. But
Uh-huh,
like when Mac DeMarco first comes on the scene, like he's making music that's like pretty weird. And people are like, "This
Yeah.
is weird music," and then it becomes commonplace. And so, yeah, we just have to like we as a performer, you know, and as artists, we walk this really weird line. We push people and we make them work for it a little bit, but we also give them what they want.
It's kind of like they don't know what they want quite yet until you show them sometimes.
Right.
Kind of, sort of. Right?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Totally. And, you know, Hannibal Buress has like, I was listening to one of his stand-up things and he talked about how like, he was making a joke about how like about how certain rappers can rap about killing someone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, their song is 3.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
And he said he found that to be very confusing because they're living such an unhinged outlaw lifestyle, but at the same time, they're presenting it to you on the exact same plate of 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. I mean, it's like there's certain things at play where you can take things super far, but then you still present it in, I don't know,
That's fascinating.
in ways that are
dude.
communicated and understood.
Dude, I knew you'd be a good guest because like you have your own podcast, so you've entertained some thoughts. You know what I mean? So, and you're very well versed in everything, conversation wise. Tell me about your podcast a little bit. I wanted to ask you about this. I've never actually watched it. I didn't realize it was a thing until recently. I think you might have posted one of the clips of looked like a Zoom call or something. But do you do them all virtually?
Traditionally, I've taken a break for like. I don't even know how long. Maybe
It's hard to do the road
a year.
and the podcast.
Exactly. Once the road started back up, I kind of went on hiatus. But I'd like to bring it back. But it was mainly a COVID thing where I was doing them all over Zoom.
Gotcha.
And I cranked them out. I did like 50 episodes. But
Damn.
At one point, I was doing an episode a day. So
wow. See, you do everything to the extreme, man.
The
road
man.
is like on podcast one every day. Is that just who you are, kind of?
Yeah, I got the lust for life, as they say.
I love that.
I live for it. I live for the hustle, especially when it's like a hustle that I enjoy. But man, like when I'm serving tables back at home, like I want to serve like crazy.
You're serving them.
I'm like, give me 5 doubles. Like I want to work 10 shifts this week. You know,
that's nuts, man.
Yeah, like I'll just sleep, wake up, and serve, and then I'll make a bunch of money. I'm like, let's go on the road for a month, 2 months. Let's, whatever it is. Maybe I'm obsessive. I don't know what it is, but
I love that.
I live for that.
No, I know what you mean. It's like I'm here on this planet. Let's get it done. You know what I mean? Let's go. You know?
Exactly. Well, yeah, I agree. It's not good with food though. Overeating is not good. You get the food like I'm gonna eat so much food, and then
2 doubles.
and then regret.
Yeah, that's one of those things you could take too far. I'm gonna ask you a few more questions, then I'll let you go. It's been an hour 30, man. Sorry I kept you so long.
Go.
Dude.
No, you're
I'm
good.
having fun, so wanted to keep you around. I got a few more big questions and we'll wrap it up. Let's see. What is another band that you played with on a bill that just absolutely blew you away? You can name more than one if anything sticks out.
Man, I've seen some crazy bands. A lot of the bands that I keep in my that I think about a lot are the ones that are doing a similar thing to us, where they're like out there just sweating and they're out there playing and playing and playing and putting out music. And I have a lot of respect for the hustle because, I've had friends who've had the virality and have blown up, and I'm proud of them. And in no ways do I diminish their success, but I think of bands like Dinner Time out of Atlanta, Late Night Laundry out of Chicago, Daddy's Beamer out of Charleston.
Oh, I've heard of them. They're cool.
They're just bands like that. Like I could probably name 100, but every town's got, and I think about that with Elijah and Tommy and Hotel Fiction too. They're just bands that are out there just working really hard and making great music too, obviously. But anyone that can just keep going and keep going, because I love the story of an artist. I love bands and artists that change. I love careers. I love discographies. I love just like studying the story of a band and how they evolve over time. I love that. It's another reason why I tell bands, don't change your band name if possible. Don't change your band.
Exactly.
Just like do the next thing you want to do as the same thing. Because I think, obviously do what you want, but if you can do that, it makes for a compelling story.
I totally agree. You can lose some fans in translation or, storyline in translation by changing the name. That's a good point. That'd lead me to another question. If you could give bands any one tip, what would you give them?
The easy. It's just don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't stop.
Love
Because
that.
if you just keep doing stuff, you are on the right track. It's when you start nodding off and you're like, oh, well, you take a year off. That's tricky. And that's not to say don't take time for yourself.
Yes.
But just think about it. And if you're going to put out a record, maybe do the single game. Maybe put out some singles slowly because it's easy to put out a record and it's hard to put out the next record.
There's something to be said about momentum. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's something to be said about it.
Maybe try to play a show every couple months if you can. You know?
Yes.
Just to keep it on the front instead of the back burner. You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah. Don't give up. It's pretty much the best 3 words you could, like as long as you keep going, you're good, right? You know what I mean? Like
Totally, dude.
you might not end up exactly where you want to be, but as long as you loved it and kept going, I mean, mission accomplished. Yeah.
Right, and ultimately it's about making the music you want to make, whether it's about, everyone wants to grow their music and, have it impact more people and culture. But at the same time, if you just have like a collection of songs you put out every year, you're going to be proud of them. And you're going to be glad you did in 10 years.
Yes,
so.
you're going to listen back, and even if at the time maybe it's like, oh, I didn't get that right, like it will always be a good, like it's like cataloging your life, you know what I mean? Yeah, really good way to put it, I think, is that was exactly who you were at that time, you know what I mean? Yeah. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and a lot of times when you don't do it, I mean, I've had certain phases where I've been really into a certain genre and style, and I wasn't able to finish a record or even put out anything. And now that era of me, it's not lost per se, but kind of is, where I'm like, man, I wish I had put out a record in 2020 or in 2019. You know what I mean?
I get what I know exactly what you mean. That's super interesting, man. All right, 1 or 2 more questions. I'm trying to think of some good ones. If you could be in any other band right now, if you had to join a band, what band would you join?
I would join. I could be in any band. Maybe Wolfpack.
Ooh, okay. What's the reasoning on that? Just love them?
Yeah, I just think it's like incredibly fun, and every single person in that band has their own personal career, but they're able to come together and just create like ridiculously fun music that's collaborative and cool. So I'd love to join the Wolfpack or NRBQ. They're my favorite classic band. They're still touring to this day. The New Rhythm and Blues Quartet. They've been playing since 1965, and they've put out like insane amount of music, played an insane amount of shows. They are super cool.
I'm gonna have to look them up. I don't think I know anything offhand by them. Probably heard them, I assume. But what about tambourines, man? How many tambourines do you have? I think the tambourine is a slept-on instrument, man. I think they're underrated.
I try to keep 2 or 3 with me at a time. I play 2 on stage, and they break easy when you're throwing them around and stuff. Yeah, they're expensive though, so I try to.
What kind of tambourines do you get? I want to get a nice one. I mean, there really are nice ones. Is what people don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing tambourine for a few years, but I still am kind of experimenting. I'll just go to a music store and kind of feel around. And maybe pick up a new one and see what I like.
See what's up with it. I'd seen you post on Instagram one time. It was like, I left my tambourines in Charleston. Somebody please, if you're in that area, let me know.
Yeah.
If you come by Nashville.
I forgot about that. I left a couple tambourines in Columbia once.
Yeah, that's it. New Brooklyn Tavern,
Yeah,
probably?
New Brooklyn Tavern.
How do you like it there? I'm supposed to play there in August, and I've never played there.
It's tight. It's a great, it is a great, just, you know those rooms where you're like, this is a room, like Caledonia Lounge, where you're like, this is a room where music should exist. It's no frills. It's just like black walls. Good stage, good sound.
Stickers in the bathroom windows.
Yeah, stickers in the bathroom window. You got it. So it's one of those like sacred, just like this is a good place to play.
Love that, man. Good description. I wanted to ask you one more thing. I actually was just glancing down at my notes. And I was like, definitely wanted to ask you a little bit about Nashville because I talk about it a lot on the show. Because a lot of people come to the show and they're like, just doing Athens until I can move to Nashville or that kind of stuff. And you see bands like Hotel Fiction move to Nashville and it would kind of like not be exactly what they'd hoped. Or I don't exactly know what happened, but they moved home. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm wondering what you thought about, like, as somebody from Athens who's looking to do music full time for the rest of my life and already doing okay so far at it, is moving to Nashville the big switch that everybody thinks it is? Like, we'll move to Nashville, the opportunities will be there. I'll kind of get to mingle with, like labels and stuff like that and people that are doing it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I have an interesting perspective because I'm born and raised there. And I didn't think that there was any reason for me to leave. It's a good town.
Yes.
It's a good place to tour out of. You're 7 hours from Chicago, 8 hours from New Orleans. You can get anywhere, really.
Perfect middle, honestly.
Perfect middle. And there definitely is industry there, and there's a lot of different industries there. it's expensive.
Yeah. Lately, for sure.
Yeah, the rent is hard. You make a lot of friends. You make a
Yeah.
lot of good friends who are doing great in the music industry. And in some ways, that's helpful. But I think for me, in terms of grass is greener, I look at other towns and I think it would be cool to be more cherished as like a hometown. Like I'm not a hometown hero in Nashville.
Yeah,
Like
'cause
people,
it's so big.
it's just so big. There's so
Yeah.
many bands. I don't really feel the love. Like I can't sell more tickets in Nashville. Like
Yeah.
Nashville's I've heard
Gotcha.
people say it's a great place to live, bad place to play. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
so
kind of where
many
I'm at
artists.
with it. Like
Yeah.
I don't play very often at all. And like the best way to play in town is to just play a dive bar and invite your friends and family. Because if you try to really promote a show in Nashville, it could be demoralizing. And I know it's
Yeah.
not. It sounds like I'm black and blue about it, but
No,
it's just
no.
like it's just hard. I mean,
Yeah.
I played Exit In, and I was like promoted the heck out of it. Had a great 3 openers that were all awesome.
Yeah.
All pull really well. We pull really well. It was like 300 people showed up, which is good. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's like I have friends who are from Chattanooga or from let's say like even Athens, like being able to play
Yeah.
like the Georgia Theater or something. It's like a special thing in your hometown, and you can get people out. It's hard in Nashville to get anyone out.
Gotcha.
So as a place to perform, I tell touring bands like, beware, you are going to have a bad show in Nashville.
Yes. Yeah.
And hopefully I'm wrong. Like, but it's good to have your expectations really low with Nashville because it's really hard to get people out. But I mean, I love living there.
Yeah.
I love Nashville, and I stand by it, and I want to make it a better place. And hopefully, when I have more caliber and I have more, money and whatever it is, I could like create things that make it more special. But
That's awesome, dude.
It's hard,
I
it's
get
just a
I get
hard
what you
place.
mean. I guess that was literally exactly what I'm asking. Is like everybody thinks that like, oh man, he's moving to Nashville, so just up from here, like you know what I mean. And like I talk to booking agents in Nashville that we work with that are based out of there. They're like, dude, don't even waste your time here. I'm like, really?
Right.
I was like, okay, well, I mean, word. And you gave me some advice one time. I messaged you probably years ago, and I was like, dude, where should we play in Nashville? And you were like, the Cobra. And then we went and played it. It was fun. It was great. And like you said, the Cobra and the 5 Spot and a few other spots or whatever.
Yeah.
Like just to get in the door, And I was like, but like even playing the Cobra, I was like, I don't think we could ever get to where like we were selling it out or like, you know what I mean? Like I don't think it would go much farther than us playing with 3 bands and doing, 100 tickets or whatever.
Right.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally do.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird place. And so I guess for anyone who's thinking about moving to Nashville, I just think it is a good place to be. In a lot of different genres, it can be more or less effective there. But there is a scene for pretty much anything.
Yeah.
It is a thriving artistic community. But don't take for granted what you have in your own market and like your own town. And like, I guess I just think I personally think one thing that I don't feel like I have that I see my other friends have that is really special is like a really solid hometown that they can have with their hometown shows.
Gotcha,
And they can
yeah.
have there, and they
Yeah.
can be celebrated. And if there's local people who make music videos, they want to make a music video with your band.
I get
If
what
there's a
you
local
mean.
podcast, they want you on their podcast. Local restaurant doing whatever. Oh, like let's have our coffee beans like roasted and like name it after a band.
A
or
margarita named after you,
yeah,
you
or
know what I
drink
mean?
or
Yeah.
milkshake named after the band. That you get all that when you live in whatever town,
Athens
like in
or
a
wherever.
smaller town, where you are a valuable piece of the culture, and that's something that's very special that I don't think that you can really get in Nashville because
There's national acts coming out or whatever.
yeah, you got
know?
Luke Bryan's downtown, like he's the guy who's got the thing named after
Yes.
him, not me. So
Dude, that's such an interesting point that I
Yeah.
never would have thought of, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm always saying like it just comes up a lot on the show, the Nashville thing. Like if we had to move somewhere, it'd probably be Nashville. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like there's something to be said about being an Athens band, and like I would rather like fail as an Athens band than like move somewhere else because I love it here. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And like REM, they never moved, or B-52
Totally.
has moved, but whatever. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
is. You can do it from whatever town you're in.
right.
Usually, you know.
Well, and the thing I didn't mention is also that getting to open for a national touring act. So you have a better chance of doing that here than you would in
Yeah.
Nashville.
Because when a band goes from here, like you're saying, like a little band, like a fraternity band or Hotel Fiction or whoever, when they get their first time in the theater, everybody's going.
Mhm.
Everybody like that. There's a big buzz if there's a band that went from they're just being in town playing around to playing the theater. There's only like a handful of them, you know what I mean? So like it's a big deal. So I get exactly what you mean, man. But believe me, you loved in other markets. Don't worry about it too much.
Yeah, that's what I don't. When I was working at an ice cream shop when I was 18, I asked, there was a guy and his band was a lot bigger than mine. I asked him, how did he get to where people loved him in Nashville? And he said, we just hit the road.
Yeah.
He's like, once you come back to Nashville, people have respect for you when they see you out on the road.
Gotcha.
That's more important.
That's a good
It's just traveling around and making friends everywhere. That's why I don't sweat it too much.
Yeah.
Just keep playing everywhere. I love Nashville, and I love my friends and family.
Yeah.
I love the place I work. I work at Burger Up. I like working there.
That's awesome.
Good vibes, man. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I'll have to holler at you next time in Nashville. If next time I'm in Nashville, if you're not on the road, I'll come see you, man. Because we do visit. It's a fun town to come to, man. I've thought about like taking the podcast there for a week and getting as many people as I could, you know?
That's a great idea.
I think that'd be really fun, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
Anyways, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I had such a blast, dude. So great to meet you officially, man. It's fantastic.
Great to meet you too.
Yeah, dude, you're one of the better guests I've ever had. I mean it, because you're like so well versed, and you know how it is on the podcast. Like, you know how to flow it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Well, tell the camera to where to find you on Instagram and any other socials you want to put out there in your music and everything.
Yes, you can type in Nordista Freeze to Google. You'll find me on every social media, streaming service, anywhere. You can hear me, see me, DM me on Instagram, whatever city you live in. I'll let you know when I'm going to be there because I'll be there soon.
It doesn't matter where it's at. It'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be close by.
Love that, man. Well, thank you to our show sponsors once again. No Athens, wonderful platform out of right here in Athens, Georgia, putting out some great content. I'm going to put you in touch with them because I really feel like you two would be a good promo meetup. They're putting out some wonderful content, man. Really, really great stuff. Like just original videos, and like curating the shows takes forever. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be a graphic with like 70 shows on it. I'm like, dude, I know that took time to get the dates, the times, who's opening. So shout out No Athens. They took a great interest in the show, and I appreciate that. And same to Clark's Collective. Anybody looking for somebody to play in Athens, you should hit up Clark's. They're having some wonderful shows. I played some great shows there. It's awesome. So yeah, thanks to everybody for watching. If you made it 98 minutes in, thank you so much. Let's give them a wave so we have a thumbnail, all right? Give them a smile too. Yee. All right, man.
You know what you mean to me. You've always said